Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Apba Baseball Classics, where yesterday's stars performed through cards and dice, classic games on our tabletops. Hi everybody, this is Apba Brian and Apba Baseball Classics, bringing to you another installment of the King of the Hill tournament with our Apba Classic baseball teams. Today we have the 1911 Philadelphia Athletics taking on the 1910 Chicago Leland Giants of Andrew Foster. Leland Giants played at Gunther Field. I think I got a picture of that somewhere. Gunther Field is about 10 blocks north of Wrigley Field, or at least it was. I think that area is now Chase Park. It's by Clark and Leland Avenue. Wrigley is at Clark and Addison, I believe. And Andrew Foster was their player manager. Andrew had a nickname. His nickname was Rube Foster. And Rube Foster got his nickname. He's from Calvert, Texas. When he was young in Calvert, Texas, he had a chance to pitch against Rube Waddell, and he beat Rube Waddell. And that's where he started become called Rube Foster. Someone asked me yesterday after we played the King of the Hill tournament with Leland Giants if I thought that the Negro League teams were as good as the Major League teams, or were they a AAA level? My opinion, I believe they were as good as the Major League teams. I absolutely believe that. When they played, I have a book by Phil Dixon, who is a leading historian on Negro League baseball, talking about the barnstorming teams of the Negro Leagues. The Negro League players won about 2/3 of those games. In fact, Judge Mountain Landis, who in the 20s was the commissioner of baseball, he so did not like losing to the Negro League teams that he forbade Major League teams to play them any further in exhibition games as their team units. They could have quote-unquote all-star teams play the Negro Leagues, but not as their team units. And the Negro League players, once they made it into the Major Leagues, most of them were successful. Jackie Robinson was not even the best Negro League player. There were some who were as good or better than him. I think Jackie was probably, at the time, our nation's best athlete. He excelled in UCLA in track. He set a broad jump record. He excelled in football. He excelled in basketball. He was a guard and a scorer in basketball. And he played shortstop for the UCLA Bruins and excelled there. So, yes, I do think the Negro League teams were on a Major League level. In fact, some could say that they're not sure the Major Leagues in pre-integration days could be considered Major Leagues, because the official way to consider a Major League team is they have to have the best players in the country of their day. And they did not have all the best players of their day in the white major leagues. Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, who was asked, Satchel Paige, I heard an interview one time where he was asked, do you think that a Negro League team could beat, or any Negro League team could beat the 1927 Yankees? And the answer that Satchel gave back was, I don't know if they would win, but they'd give them a hell of a game. So, yeah, I do think the Negro League teams were a Major League level teams. And after all, I think there is quite a bit of difference between a AAA team and a Major League team. A lot of players who come up for AAA to the Major Leagues don't make it. And then by the time the Negro Leagues were pretty fully infused in baseball, they were mostly in the National League in the late 50s and early 60s. We won all those all-star games. It was mostly the National League. All right, let's get down to the business of baseball. We're using basic Apba baseball. And here are our starting lineups. Let's see. I think we'll go with the screen today. Starting for the Philadelphia Athletics, Bruce Lord, Eddie Collins, Home Run Baker, Rube Oldring, Denny Murphy, Stuffy McInnes, Ira Thomas, catcher, and Jack Berry, the shortstop. Gettysburg Eddie Plank is on the mound. He is a grade A pitcher with a Y modifier. Starting for the Leland Giants, Frank Duncan will lead off. Pete Booker, Pete Hill, Pop Lloyd, probably the greatest Negro League shortstop ever. He has a 10 on his card for shortstop. Grant Home Run Johnson, Bruce Petway, Whip Pryor, and Jet Payne, who drove the bus for the Leland Giants in their win yesterday. Rube Foster's on the mound. He's a grade B Z pitcher. All right, here we go. Pitch to Bruce Lord, 3-4, is a fly ball to center field, taken by Pete Hill, 1 down. Eddie Collins. 4-4 is a drive to right field. It's going to get down, retrieved by Jet Payne. He throws it back in. Base hit for Eddie Collins. We're going to be using basic Apba with the steals. I do give the catcher a chance to throw out the base runner. And I do not automatically accept the caught stealings in the basic result. Frank Home Run Baker, known as Home Run Baker because he hit 2 of those in the 1911 World Series. One against Mark Ward, one against Christy Mathewson. 2-2 roll for Baker, and that's giving me a second column roll there. 45 is a double for Frank Home Run Baker. Runner, it's a double over first base. Fast runner on first will score. And I do believe the runner on first, Collins, he is fast, he scores. And so the Philadelphia A's are on the board 1-0. RBI for Frank Baker. And Collins is the man who scores the run. Rube Oldring steps into the box. 297 hitter for the Athletics. 5-6 is a 12. And that is a swing and miss. Strike 3. 2 outs. Danny Murphy. 5-5 is a 7. I knocked that over. It was a 5. 5-5. And that's a 7. Single to right field. And that's going to score Baker. Third hit for the A's in the inning. 2 runs. Average speed at first. There's Stuffy McInnes. The first baseman, part of what was known then in those days as the $100,000 infield. 63 is a fly out to center field. 3 outs. We got 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first. Philadelphia A's 2. Chicago Leland Giants coming to bat. At Gettysburg, Eddie Plank is on the mound for the A's. Athletics were actually a dynasty in the early 1910s. They won the World Championship in 1910, 11, and 12, or 10, 11. And they won 102 games. They won 101 in 11, which is the team we're playing. 1912, they sank back to 90 wins. But in 1913, they won 96 wins. 1914, they won 99. 13, they were world champions. And then they fell apart where Connie Mack sold away the team and came in last place in 1915. But don't feel sorry for Philadelphia. The Phillies came up and won the National League pennant in 1915. All right, Eddie Plank, pitching to Frank Duncan, leading off for the Giants. 36 is a 33. That is, I believe, a pop-up on the infield. Or Y. Eddie Plank has the Y strikeout modifier, so it's strikeout for Duncan, caught looking, one down. Pete Booker. 5-5 is an 8 against an A. That's going to be a pop out to third. 2 outs. And here is Pete Hill. Ground out to shortstop. 3 up and 3 down for the Leland Giants. We go to the top of the second inning. 2-0 Philadelphia A's. Andrew Foster featured a screwball. And he was in the early 1900s. He was not in his prime by 1910, but in the early 1900s, he was a premier pitcher. Ira Thomas will lead off, the catcher for the Philadelphia A's, top of the second inning. Two, 4 is a swing and a miss for Ira Thomas. Strike 1, or strike 3. You turn back to the dugout. Here's Jack Berry. 2-6. Rolled on the ground to the shortstop. Pop Lloyd throws the first. 2 outs. Now the pitcher, Eddie Plank. 6-1 is another roller to Pop Lloyd at short. 3 up and 3 down for the A's. Go to the bottom of the second inning. Philadelphia 2 and Chicago nothing. All right. Here, when you make the final 2 defensive plays in an inning, it's pretty common that you're the first bat of the next inning. Here is John Henry Lloyd, otherwise known as Pop Lloyd. El Cuchara is the nickname on the card, but I've always known him as Pop Lloyd. 6-1 is a 22. Both teams are fielding column 1. Rolled on the ground to first base, picked up by Stuffy McInnes, who flips to Plank covering. Lloyd is retired. Second baseman Grant Home Run Jackson. Sky to the right side. Giving chase is Danny Murphy. Makes the catch in right field. 2 outs. Here's the catcher, Bruce Petway. Bruce Petway was the mentor to Biz Mackey, who mentored Roy Campanella. 5-3 is 18. That's hit on the ground to the shortstop and fumbled by Jack Berry for an error. E6. My dad had an old-time baseball glove. It was flatter than a pancake. I think his glove was from the 20s. And, it's kind of hard to understand how anybody could catch balls with those kind of gloves that they use. Here's Wes Pryor, 2 outs, man on first. 2-5 is a 10. off an A pitcher. Single to right center field. Petway goes to third. Pryor can steal on the next pitch. Jack Payne's the batter. He was the star of the game when they eliminated Honus Wagner and the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was 3 for 4 with a run scored and 3 RBIs. Why not? There he goes. 11th, let's see, the catcher for the A's is Ira Thomas, 11 to 23. He'll be out, 64. He is safe and almost threw the ball away. 65 for 66 will be an errant throw. So now the Lelands have runners at second and third. Andrew Foster, who also played second base and outfield, is on deck. His hitting card doesn't look as strong as Payne's. You know, there's something to be said about walking to get to the pitcher, but if you can get this guy out, there's something to be said about having the pitcher bat next in the batting first in the next inning, and you get to start with probably an out. So Plank is going to go ahead and pitch to Payne. 2-3 is a 26, and that is going to work out for Gettysburg Eddie Plank. The infield is deep with 2 outs, so it's a ground out to second base. 4-3, that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left. We go to the top of the third. Philadelphia Athletics 2 and the Chicago Leland Giants, they threaten, but they're still at 0. Top of the order for the A's is going to be Briss Lord. Briss Lord started out his career with the Philadelphia A's. He was known as the human eyeball because he had exceptional eyesight, maybe along Ted Williams' eyesight. But kind of got off to a slow start with the Athletics, so Connie Mack sent him back to the minor leagues. And then the Cleveland Naps bought him. Connie Mack decided he wanted him back prior to the, I believe it was 1910 season, so he traded a man named Rath and a player to be named later to get Briss Lord back on the Athletics. And Briss Lord rewarded him with a 310 season in 1911. Who was the player to be named later? That was a guy who Connie Mack got rid of because he thought he wasn't taking baseball seriously enough. The player to be named later was Shoeless Joe Jackson. And he rewarded the Cleveland Naps with a 408 season in 1910. All right, here's a pitch to Briss Lord. 2-4 is a 31, a fly ball to center field, and that is caught by Pete Hill out there in center field. We're joined today by King Tuan Gaming. He is doing a King of the Hill project on his channel, and that is King Tuan Gaming. He's using the OOP computer baseball. And we're also joined by Ken Castro. Good morning, Ken. Strong match up here. You bet. Andrew Foster thought that the 1910 team that he had was the best Negro League team ever. Of course, Foster started to show signs of mental illness in 1925, so he really didn't see the teams. And then he died in 1930, but from the late 20s onward. But he really thought highly of his 1911 Leland Giants. All right, 1 down. Here is Eddie Collins. 5-3 is an 18. Both teams feeling column 1, and that's going to be an error on the shortstop, Pop Lloyd. Collins at first with speed. Frank Home Run Baker finished his career with Babe Ruth in the New York Yankees around 1921. 5-5 is an 8 against a B pitcher. That's a ground out to third base, 5-3, and Collins will go to second with 2 outs. Rube Oldring. Oldring is the center field. He struck out his first time up. 3-2 is a 2-6, and that is grounded to second baseman Frank Home Run Johnson, or Grant Home Run Johnson. Throw to first, 3 outs. No runs, no hits, and 1 error, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the third. It's Philadelphia A's 2, Chicago Leland Giants, nothing. All right. Rube Foster leads off for the Giants. This is Rube Foster here in his Leland Giant uniform. He was a player manager, kind of a domineering manager, strict but fair. Loved the running game. Also, he expected you to go from first to third on base hits. He used hit and run plays. He used bunt and run plays. He would start the runner at first base, have him circle second on a bunt to third base and go to third. So he expected everybody on his team to be able to hit and run, and also to be able to bunt and lay that bunt down toward third base. With the pitch to Rube Foster, 4-1 is a grounder to the shortstop, Jack Berry, who has an error in the game, but catches this one, throws out Rube Foster, 1 down. Top of the order, Frank Duncan. There were a couple Duncans in the Negro Leagues. This one, we played in the aughts and tens with the Leland Giants here, and another Frank Duncan that played from the middle 20s through 30s with the Kansas City Monarchs. He was a catcher. 3-1 is a 3-1's an 8 against an A pitcher. That's going to be an out. Pop to third. 2 down. And now the first baseman, Pete Booker. 5-1 is a same pop up to third base. Caught by Frank Baker. 3 up and 3 down for the Leland Giants. The runs, hits, or errors. We go to the top of the 4th inning. It's 2-0 Philadelphia A's. Foster returns to the mound, and he'll be facing Danny Murphy, Stuffy McInnes, and Ira Thomas. 5-1, 8 against a B pitcher as they fly out to Pete Hill in center field, 1 down. Stuffy McInnes. 3-5 is a 9. That's going to be a hit off a B pitcher. Line drive over the head of Pop Lloyd for a single. Retrieved in left field by Frank Duncan and return. McInnes is on first. Here's the catcher, Ira Thomas. 273 hitter. 6'4" is a 36. And that's a wild pitch that gets away from Petway, catcher. The runner goes to second on the wild pitch. 6'4" is another wild pitch. All right. Catcher Petway goes back out to talk to his pitcher, just kind of settle him down. And the infield will play. They'll come in and they'll play in. They'll stop this runner at third. There's a pitch to Ira Thomas. 5-5 is an 8 against a B pitcher. That's a fly ball to right field. Under it is Jet Payne. McInnes tags, and he's going out for home, and he will score on the sacrifice fly. RBI for Thomas, and the A's go up 3-0. That brings up the shortstop for the Philadelphia A's, Jack Berry. Here's a look at Jack Berry. "5-6" is a ground ball to third base. That will end the inning. 5-3. But the A's, they had one run on one hit, no errors, nobody left. Go to the bottom of the fourth inning, it's 3-0 Philadelphia. Eddie Plank returns to the mound, and he will have to deal with the formidable part of the Lelands lineup. Pete Hill, John Henry Lloyd, Pop Lloyd, and Grant Home Run Johnson. We mentioned it yesterday, but seam heads. I couldn't find stats for the 11 Lelands in baseballreference.com. Since the stats have been made major league stats from 20 to 48, I think Baseball Reference has done a good job of updating their Negro League stats, and they're constantly working on that. But they don't have, I couldn't find it for 11, and they're still not considered major league stats. But they are up on, their stats are up on seam heads. What's counted is league games only, not the barnstorming games. And the Lelands only play 25 league games in the league they're in. So in those 25 games, we mentioned yesterday, Pete Hill, he had 10 doubles, 4 triples, and 4 doubles. Or no, 10 doubles, 4 triples, and 4 homers. And he had 5.11 batting average in those league games. 3-5 is an 8. That's a pop up to third. 1 down. Pop Lloyd. 5-5 is a base hit for Lloyd. Somebody gets an A is a single right field. That is only the second hit for the Chicago Lelands. Lloyd is at first base with speed, and here is Grant Home Run Johnson. This is still dead ball baseball. Not looking for a lot of home runs in this game. 1-3 is 14. Does not have the Z modifier. That's going to be a base on balls. And now it's first and second for the Leland Giants. Bruce Petway. Very good defensive catcher. Gets a 9 rating at defense. And he's got some speed on his card with some 11. Here's a pitch to Petway. 5-5 is an 8. First and second. That's a ground out to third. Play made by Baker. And the runners advance 90 feet. 2 down. Tying run at the plate is Wes Pryor. Had a pretty good day in the first game. Pryor was 2 for 4, 2 singles, run scored, and an RBI. 5-3 is a 20. Ground ball to second base. So it says first on the air, filling the bases. So Lloyd and Johnson don't advance. E4, bases are loaded. Not a good base running turn of events for the Lelands. But Jet Payne comes to the plate. He's been swinging a hot bat. He grounded out the second his first time up, but again was 3 for 3 yesterday. Here's the pitch to Jet Payne. Bases loaded. Can Jet Payne put a quarter in the merry-go-round? 3-1 is an 8. And that's a fly ball to right field. Danny Murphy is tracking it and makes the catch. So the Leland Giants leave them loaded. They had second and third in the second inning. Now they leave them loaded in the fourth. Still haven't scored. No runs on one hit, one error, and 3 left. Go to the top of the fifth inning. It's still 3-0 Philadelphia. Missed opportunities for Rube Foster's team. They are the kings of the hill, but you can't miss these opportunities and stay that way. Eddie Plank will lead off for the A's. 1-2 is a ground ball to Grant Johnson at second base. He throws to first. 1 out. Briss Lord. 5-2 is a 2-7. Grounded to third as well. No, Plank grounded out to second. Lord grounds out to the third baseman Pryor. 2 outs. Eddie Collins. 2-6 is a base on balls. First walk surrendered by Rube Foster. He did throw a couple of wild pitches in an inning. Collins is fast at first base. Home run Baker, the batter. 27 is going to end the inning. Ground ball hit on the ground to third base. Picked up by Pryor, the throw to first. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. 3-0 Athletics. Let's see. We're at the pitcher spot here. Rube Foster will lead off for the Lelands. Some might consider this weekend kind of a slow sports weekend, but I don't. I'm interested in the Senior Bowl on Saturday. I'm going to watch it, probably. And then we're going to have, prepare for our Super Bowl pick show, which is going to be coming up on Tuesday night. All right, here is the pitch to Rube Foster. 4-6 is a ground ball to third base. Home run Baker throws over to Stuffy McInnes at first. Foster's retired. He has grounded out twice in the game. Top of the order in Frank Duncan. 17. That's hit in the air. That fielding column 1 is going to turn that into a fly out to right field. 2 outs. Here's Pete Booker. .21 is a fly out to right field. So 3 up and 3 down for the Leland Giants. They go out without a whimper. Top of the 6th, 3-0 Philadelphia A's. One thing I talked about in the opening about the question that was posed to me about, do I think the Negro Leagues were as good as the major leaguers, or were they AAA level? The one thing where the Negro League teams does not measure up to the white major league teams would be probably the pitching depth department, mostly for financial reasons, although the Negro Leagues had a lot of money. There was a huge black business in their day, but they didn't have as many players on their rosters as the white major leagues. And usually you look at these Negro League teams, they had maybe 5, at most 6 pitchers on the roster. Some of those pitchers also played in positions. So their pitching was not as deep. Also don't think in general they had as many good pitchers as the white major leagues. That's the only area where I think the Negro League teams fell slightly behind the white major league teams, but still they're major league quality in my way of thinking. Rube Oldring leads off center fielder for the A's. 3-4 is a fly ball to center field. Caught by P. Hill, 1 down. I mean, this 11 Leland Giants team, they've got 3 Hall of Famers on the roster. And the A's have some Hall of Famers on their roster as well. Murphy 21 is a fly out to right field. Play made by Jet Payne, 2 outs. Stuffy McInnes. 2 is a 27. Rolled to third base. Payne is up with it. Across the diamond to Booker. And that's the 3rd out. 3 up and 3 down for the A's in the top of the 6th inning. No runs, hits, or errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 3-0 Philadelphia. Press Hill will lead off for the Chicago Lelands. The Chicago Lelands played the Cubs in a 3-game series at the end of the 1910 season before they added some of the stars they had in 1911. And they played them evenly. They didn't win those games, but they were very competitive. Those games were played in Wrigley Field. This game is at Gunther Field, which is 10 blocks north of Wrigley. But starting in 1911, Foster made a deal with Charles Comiskey, and they played in what was the White Sox home ballpark. I think that was called West Side Park. I'm not sure. Here's a pitch to Pete Hill, bottom of the 6th inning. The Leland Giants down by 3. 56 is a 34. Plank has a white strikeout modifier, and it's a strikeout of Pete Hill caught looking. Hill has struggled. He is 0 for 3 today and was 0 for 5 yesterday. Pop Lloyd, 19. Grounded to third base. Bobbled by Baker to throw to first, not in time. E5. It's an error on Frank Baker. Puts Lloyd at first base with speed. Here's Frank's home run Johnson. 21 is a fly out to right field. 2 away, and Bruce Petway, the catcher. 1-1 roll. That's a hit column roll for Petway. Let's see if we'll get the runner home. 42 is a 6. We read that on the D column. Single to center field with 2 outs. Oh, wait a minute. 6 is a double over first. And with 2 outs, the run does score. Unearned run off of Eddie Plank, or for Petway. And now it's 3-1. A's up by 2. We got Petway at second. Wes Pryor. 2-2 roll for Pryor. That's a 7. And that is going to be a single to right field. Scoring Petway. 2 runs home in the inning. And the Leland Giants are within 1 run. Here's Jack Payne, third baseman, and the 8th place hitter in the lineup. 3-3 roll for Payne. That's a 6 off the, A column pitcher, and with 2 outs, any runner scores. So Pryor will score from first base. It's been an error, double, single, double. And the Chicago Leland Giants have scored the game, tied up the game here in the 6th inning. 3-3. There's the pitcher, Andrew Foster. 1-6 is grounded to shortstop. The throw from Jack Berry to first base. And Andrew Foster is out, but the Chicago Leland Giants get 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 error and 1 left. New ball game. We go to the 7th inning, tied 3-3. Ira Thomas will lead off the top of the 7th. This is the fatigue inning. 3 bad things happened to Rube Foster. His grade level will go down to a C, but he'll probably keep himself in because the relief is a DW pitcher. So This is going to be Foster's ball game. Here's the pitch to Ira Thomas. 5-3 is an 18. And that's an error on the shortstop. This is kind of looking like a dead ball game. There were more errors in that error. Slow runner at first. I'll play it safe on the base pass with my slow runners unless I say otherwise. Jack Berry, the shortstop, is due up. He is the 8th place hitter. Berry is going to look to lay one down. We'll see if he can pick out a good screwball from Rube Foster and bunt the runner over. 1-1 roll. That is how it always happens with me when I go to a sacrifice chart. 0-0 puts the second column. 5-2 would be a 6, which is an out 5-4, but the runner goes to second. Would have been a double otherwise. And I'm not going to play it safe now with the runner, and I'm going to go ahead and call timeout and send up a pitch hitter for Eddie Plank. So Eddie Plank goes 6 innings. None of the runs in the 6th inning were earned. So he gives up no earned runs. Unlike the Leland Giants, the Philadelphia A's do have some arms in the bullpen. And warming up is going to be Harry Krause. And the pinch hitter is going to be Jack Lapp. So Krause in the bullpen. And Jack Lapp is a backup catcher who hit 353 and 167 at bats. And that's the primary reason why we're pitch hitting for Eddie Plank. All right, here's the pitch to Lapp and Andrew Foster. 6-3 is a 34. High pop-up on the infield. And Grant Johnson's under makes the catch. So Lapp does not deliver in his pinch hitting duties. That brings up top of the order and Briss Lord with 2 outs. 3-3 roll. That's a hit column roll for Lord. He delivers. 46 is going to be a run-scoring double, an unearned run because Lapp got on base with an error. Philadelphia A's go back at top 4-3. And now, in the 7th inning, we've had 3 bad things happen to Foster. So that's the error in the double and the run. So Foster's pitching grade goes down to C. Eddie Collins is the batter. 2-4 is a fly ball to center field that ends the inning. But the Athletics go back on top with 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. It's 4-3 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Harry Krause is the new pitcher for the Philadelphia A's. I've got his picture. This is Harry Krause, left-hander. All right, Frank Duncan, top of the order for the Leland Giants. Now back down to 1-run deficit. Here's a pitch to Duncan. 6-6 roll. That's a hit column roll for Frank Duncan. 3-5 is going to be a 2, which is a triple, leadoff triple for the Chicago Leland Giants. Fans are on their feet. Pete Booker A's will play the infield in. I'm not going to walk anybody because Booker's followed by Hill and Lloyd. Infield's in. Here's the pitch. 1-4 is a 30. That's a fly ball to left field. And if the runner on third is fast, he scores. I believe he is fast. Yes. So sac fly ties the game. 4-4. Two very good teams here fighting it out. Here is Pete Hill. 6-4 is a 9 against a B pitcher. That's going to be a hit. Those Bs take away the 8s, but they don't take away the 9s. Single over shortstop. Pete Hill's fast at first base. Here is John Henry Lloyd. I said it yesterday. If you go to the Negro Leagues Museum in 18th and Vine in Kansas City, they have statues of the greatest Negro League players at each position. And Lloyd is at shortstop, this statue. 21 is a fly out to Rube Oldring in center field. Shouldn't be a runner at first. It's 2 outs. And now let's back up here. That should have been Pete Hill. And now we're up to Lloyd. 6-4 is a base hit for Lloyd. Oh, that's what happened. I forgot to write down on the score sheet. Hill's base hit. So let's back this up here. My apologies. This is live baseball. So yeah, we had a runner first because he singled. And then we had a fly out to center field. That would be Lloyd. So let's see what Johnson has in 64. That's a 42 hit by pitch. So it's going to be first and second. I want to brain break there for a minute. But I believe this is right. First and second with 2 outs. And Bruce Petway is the batter. 4-2 is a 9 with first and second. Let's see. That is going to be a single on an infield hit, loading the bases. So the Leland Giants aren't done yet. Wes Pryor. Okay, Krause is a rated starting pitcher, so we're not worried about his fatigue. 2-4 to Pryor is a 27 with the bases loaded. That is a ground out to third. But there is 1 run on 2 hits, and bases were left full, 3 left on base. 4-4 tie going to the 8th. So Foster, he has had his grade reduced. He's a bit tired, but he will stay out there and pitch to Baker, Oldring, and Murphy. In the top of the 8th inning, he is now a grade C Z pitcher. Pitch to Frank Baker, 5-3 we had a lot of 5-3 rolls in this game. It's a 19 play result. And an error on third base. That is the third error committed by the Leland Giants. So Baker's at first, no outs, and Rube Oldring. One 4 is a fly ball to left field. Frank Duncan's under it and makes the catch, 1 down. Here's Danny Murphy, 329 hitter in 1911. 9 against a C pitcher with the runner on first is a Ground out to third base with Baker going to second. 2 outs. Stuffy McInnes. 4-1 is a roller to the shortstop, I believe. Yes, that's third out. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. Bottom of the 8th inning, it's a 4-4 tie. I was watching, I forget which channel it was, but there was a 21 inning game, extra inning game. If I think about it, it might come to my mind. It might have been it wasn't Demos, Dave. Yeah, I'm not thinking of it. But anyway, it was a 21 inning game. No runners at second base. There should never be any runner at second base in that extra inning game. Jet Payne will lead off the last of the 8th inning for the Chicago Lelands Giants. Game is all knotted up. 3-6 is a 14. It's a walk. Ball 4 to Jet Payne. He's been on base twice. Doubled and now walked. 1 for 3. Fast runner. Rube Foster. Hate giving up the out. And last time I tried to sacrifice, I rolled a 0. Foster is a single column card. Facing a B pitcher, most of his hits are 8s. He's got a 7, a 6, and a 9. We'll go ahead and sacrifice. 1-3 is a 23. That could be interesting. Popped up, caught by the pitcher, and a double play off first base. Sacrifice fails. 1 and 1 to 3. Double play, 2 outs. You know, some people never sacrifice at all, but that wasn't life and dead ball. They moved runners. Frank Duncan, 1-6 is a rollout to shortstop. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors. We're at the top of the 9th inning. 4-4 tie. Foster returns to the mound. He is already tired. It'll be Thomas, Berry, and Krause due up in the top of the 9th for the A's. Two 4 is a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Thomas is struck out. Struck out his first time up. There is Jack Berry. 6-6 roll for Berry. That's an extra column, second column roll. 6-5 just misses that home run. It's a single. A little disappointing for the A's. That ball looked like it was a double as it hit the center field, cut off by Pete Hill. It's going to just be a single. Here's the pitcher. Harry Krause will stay in the game and swing away. 6-2 is a 27. And that's a double play ground out to third, 5-4 to 3. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. Nobody left, actually, a double play. Bottom of the 9th inning, 4-4 tie. Top of the order, actually the second place hitter, Pete Booker will lead off for the Chicago Lelands. All right, here is the pitch to Booker, who is also a catcher. 2-5 is an 8 against a B pitcher. It's a fly out to center field. 1 down. That's one thing you see about Negro League teams, too. They play multiple positions. Lloyd, shortstop and second. Grant Johnson was also a pitcher. I'm glad I looked at that because I think there's only one pitcher in the envelope for their bullpen for Chicago. Petway played catcher, first, and outfield. Foster, pitcher, first, and outfield. One down here is Pete Hill. 5'6" is a 34. That's a Y, and Krause has the Y. Hill strikes out. He is 1 for 5 on the day. 2 outs. Here's Pop Lloyd. 3-5 is a fly out to center field. 3 up and 3 down for the Chicago Leland Giants. We go to the top of the 10th. 4-4 tie. I know he's tired, but we're going to go one more inning with Foster, because since he's tired, he's only given up 2. And he would still be a DZ pitcher if he gets extra tired. All right, Briss Lord, top of the order for the Philadelphia A's in the 10th inning. Extras, nobody on second base. Here's the pitch to Briss Lloyd. 2-6 is a fly ball to right field, caught by Jet Payne, 1 down. Eddie Collins. 1-2 is a ground out to second. 2 outs. Here's home run Baker. Hit 2 of those in the 1911 World Series. 61 is a rollout to the shortstop, Pop Lloyd, to throw to first. 3 up and 3 down. Bottom of the 10th we go. 4-4 tie. Neither team wants to let go of that king of the hill. All right, Frank Johnson will lead off the bottom of the 10th. He is 0 for 2 with a walk and hit by pitch. 5-1 is a fly out the center. Bruce Petway. 5-6 is a, let's see, he's a strikeout because that's the Y modifier, and Krause has that. And Wes Pryor. 2-5 is a 10. That's going to be a hit. Single to center field for Wes Pryor. He's 3 for 4 today. And the bottom of the Leland's order in both of these games has been very productive. Here's Jet Payne. 2-1 is a fly out to right field. No runs, 1 hit. No errors and 1 left. We go to the top of the 11th inning. It is still a 4-4 tie. All right, I think Rube Foster is going to call it a day. And we take a look at their bullpen. They've got an A starter, B starter, a D starter, and somebody named Harper, who they did not know what his first name is. He's a DW pitcher. We might bring in Grant Johnson. And we'll put Strothers in. So Grant Johnson, the second baseman, becomes the pitcher. He is a DW pitcher, but he's a D starting pitcher. He could go longer than Harper. So Johnson goes in. And going to second base is Struthers. But he will take Foster's place in the batting order. So here we go. Grant Johnson's on the mound. He is a DW pitcher, feeling 2. Foster is done for the day. He goes 10 innings, and he gives up 2 earned runs in the first inning, an earned run in the fourth, but that's it. So 3 earned runs, 1 unearned run. Rube Oldring steps in the box, top of the 11th inning. There's a pitch to Oldring from Grant Johnson, 45, is going to be a base on balls. Speed at first base. Danny Murphy, a 329 hitter. We're not going to hit and run because that chart's probably about a 270 chart. He does have an extra 31 on his card. No, he doesn't. They're just on the first and second column. There usually there's one on the third, but there's not. He's going to swing wide. 21 is a fly out the right field that leaves Oldring at third, an unproductive out. Steffi McInnes, a 321 hitter. 5-3 is a 20. Ground out to second base. There goes the second. 2 outs, and Ira Thomas. 3-6 is a 33. That's a pop up to the shortstop, Pop Lloyd. So Grant Johnson has a successful inning in relief. No runs, hits, 1 left. Still 4-4. Top of the 12th. Or bottom of the 10th. We're still in the bottom of the 11th. I'm sorry. And the first batter is going to be the man who came in to play second base, Strothers. He's a 6th second baseman, so they lose 2 on their fielding. But they gain 1 on their pitching because they're still 41 would be their total. They're still filling column 1. So Strothers is on up to the plate. Harry Krause on the mound. Here's the pitch to Strothers. 3-2 is a ground out to second base. Eddie Collins with a throw to first. 1 out. Top of the order, and Frank Duncan. 2-4 is a swing and a miss, strike 3. Pete Booker. 1-3 is a 22. That's on fielding column 1. That's a ground out to the first baseman. So 3 up and 3 down for Harry Krause. First baseman unassisted. No runs, hits, or errors. We go to the top of the 12th inning. 4-4 tie. All right, Grant Johnson comes back to the mound. And it will be Barry Krause and Lord for the A's in the top of the 12th. Two 6 is a ground ball to the shortstop, Pop Lloyd, to throw to first. Barry's retired. Harry Krause. 3-2 is a ground out to second. And now Briss Lord, 310 hitter with 2 outs and the bases clear. 5-1 is an 8 off a deep pitcher. That's going to be a base hit for Briss Lord. He is 2 for 6, single and double in the game. Eddie Collins. 6-6 roll for Collins. 63 is a double, and that will score the run since there are 2 outs. Lord goes home. Collins with the RBI. Eddie Collins is 2 for 5 in the game, and the Philadelphia A's go ahead 5-4. So this is where the depth of pitching comes up to bite the Leland Giants. Home run Baker, 56, is a 12. I think that's a strikeout with a runner on second. It is. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 12th inning. Philadelphia Athletics 5, the Chicago Leland Giants 4. This is Harry Krause's ball game, and he will be pitching to Hill, Lloyd, and Johnson. The toughest part of the Leland Giants lineup. Pitch to Hill, 4-4 is a 5, and that's going to be a hit. It'll be a double. It's usually a home run with a runner on first. But the Leland Giants lead off with a double. Fast runner at second. In the middle of the order, I don't want to give up any outs and moving to third. I want to try to win the game. Almost everything I've decided strategically has blown up in my face. Pop up, bump, double play, sacrifice bunt when it could have been a double. But we're going to let Lloyd swing away. It's looking at least advance the runner. Swinging away. 1-6 is a 28. A ground ball to the shortstop. Unproductive out. He stays at second. 1 out. Grant Johnson wants to get a hit here. He stands to be the losing pitcher. 3-2 is a 26. That's rolled to second base. Picked up by Collins to throw to first. 2 outs. Pete Hill advances to third. The last chance for the Chicago Lelands is Bruce Petway. Petway is 2 for 4 in the game. Single, double, and an RBI. Also scored a run. Infield with 2 outs is playing back. Here's the pitch to Bruce Petway. 5-1 is an 11. Petway delivers. Single to center. Scores Hill. And we continue on. 5-5. Petway could steal second on the next pitch. And let's see. A's catcher's at 8, 11-23. He'll be out. There he goes. 43. He is safe. Stolen base for the catcher, Bruce Petway. Whit Pryor. Pryor's had a good day. He is 3-for-4. House goes into the stretch. Here's the pitch to Wes Pryor. 1-1 roll. That's a hit solo roll. And 3-4 is a single, but it's going to be enough to get the runner home. Single over second. Runner scores. Slow runner will be out, but Petway is fast. Leland Giants win at home on the walk-off single by Wes Pryor. Glad I stole for the Chicago's are glad they stole second. 6-5, the final score. Quite a ball game. New king of the hill, or the Chicago? No, still the king of the hills. Chicago Leland Giants. That the record now is 2-0. They tie the Chicago White Sox, who were 2-0 in this tournament. If they can win tomorrow, they'll move ahead. All right, let's look at this. The Athletics had 5 runs on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. They committed some errors. 1, 2, 3 errors. And the Leland Giants scored 6 runs on 8 hits, and they committed 3 errors. Turns out Grant Johnson's the winning pitcher, who gives up a run in 2 innings pitched. And the loser is Harry Krause, who pitched 5 2/3 and gave up 2 runs. Krause takes the loss. Well, let's see. The MVP of the day for the Leland Giants will be Bruce Petway. He scored 3 runs on 6 at bats, reached also by an error. He got 3 hits, 6 at bats, 2 singles, a double, 2 RBIs, and a stolen base. Bruce Petway is the MVP of the game. We'll show you his baseball card in the Chicago American Giants uniform, which is what the Chicago Leland Giants became, I believe, in the next year, 1911. They were the Chicago Unions, and then they became the Leland Giants, and then they became the Chicago American Giants. And Bruce Petway, he was a great defensive catcher. He's a Hall of Famer. And he stayed with the Giants through 1919, and then he became a manager in the Negro Leagues. There were actually all 3 of these guys at one time or other were managers in the Negro Leagues: Petway, Pete Hill, and Andrew Foster. So a lot of brain cells on this ball club. And they knock off a very game and tough 1911 Philadelphia A's. We may have to include the 13 A's, give them another shot in this tournament. But I'm thinking right now about Christy Mathewson. So I think Monday, if we do our next game Monday, it's going to be Christy Mathewson and the 1911 New York Giants, John McGraw's Giants, against the Chicago Leland Giants. Ken Castro, Keen Twan Gaming, thank you for joining me in this broadcast. Extra innings, but I agree it was a very entertaining, a heck of an entertaining game. Have a good day, and God bless.